Hey there, my name is Kris Riley. I currently serve in Place 1 on the Austin City Council. I was born and raised here in Austin. I grew up going to Austin public schools and went away for college and came back for UT Law School and worked for 17 years as a lawyer here in town, starting off with 5 years at the Texas Supreme Court and then 12 years at a little firm downtown. Over the course of that time, I got more and more involved in city government and community issues. I started a neighborhood association, served as its president for 5 years. I served on the board of a bunch of other nonprofits like the Austin Parks Foundation and the Austin History Center Association. And I got appointed to a number of city boards and task forces.
Hi, I'm Roger Chan, and I'm running for Place 1 on the Austin City Council. I'm running because we are having difficult times in Austin. We are having difficult times across the country. And I think it's time for someone to step up who knows how to get us out of here and straighten it out. I was brought in 2000 from Washington, D.C. as Assistant City Manager of Austin. During that period of time, our economy had tanked. Many of the problems that we're facing today, we were facing then. Yet, through good management, strategic thinking, and know-how of how to implement plans, we got ourselves out of that. I think it's time to come back again and straighten it out.
My name is Randi Shade, and I'm seeking re-election for Austin City Council Place 3. It's been my honor to serve these last couple of years, and I'm really looking forward to a second term. For me, the priorities have always been core city services, public safety, parks, libraries, the core services that people rely on, and I've also taken a really active role in helping our most needy neighbors with my work as chair of the Public Health and Human Services Subcommittee. I have a strong business background and have been in Austin since the 80s. I love a lot of what's old about Austin. I love a lot of what's new in Austin.
My name is Kris Bailey. I'm running for Place 3 on the Austin City Council. I am 30 years old. I'm an insurance adjuster, and I've been in this field for about 10 years now. I grew up in Austin. I'm a homeowner in Southwest Austin in Oak Hill. And what I want to do is, I'm a fiscal conservative. I'd like to bring some fiscal responsibility to Austin City Council. There's several different areas that I'll be focusing on with this. I'm also a small business owner. I am a partner in a small insurance agency. So I am familiar with managing large amounts of money and how to be responsible and accountable for all of this.
Hello Austin, my name is Max Noziger, and I'm a candidate for Place 3 on the Austin City Council. If I look familiar, it may be because I've done this before. I actually served on the Austin City Council back in 1987 to 1996. I have 32 years of experience in local public policy issues, and I've lived in Austin since 1974. If you think South Austin deserves some representation on the Austin City Council, you should vote for me, because currently there's no one from south of the river on the City Council. And that is obviously clearly wrong. We need to fix that as soon as we can.
I'm Kathie Tovo. I'm running for City Council Place 3, and I'm running because I believe we need a change in direction at City Hall. Our council members have seemed to be more interested in making big development deals often than in really preserving affordability and maintaining a high quality of life in our neighborhoods. I moved to Austin almost 20 years ago to go to graduate school at UT. In the time since, I have taught college students, I've worked at a cultural arts nonprofit. I am the parent of 2 little girls, and I'm married to architect Tom Hurt.
Hello, my name is Eric Rangel, and I'm running for Austin City Council Place 4. I was born here in Austin at St. David's Hospital, grew up in Lockhart, Texas, and graduated from Texas State University. After that, I traveled the world a little bit, a couple times to Europe, and backpacked Mexico for a couple of months. And after traveling the world and seeing what the rest of the world and the U.S. has to offer, I moved back to Austin. And since then, I wanted to get more involved in the community. So by doing so, I volunteer with Dell's Children's Hospital, Habitat for Humanity, and the youth group at my church.
My first choice would be a hybrid system that includes some at-large districts and some geographic districts. And the reason is, Austin is a big city now. We're up to 780,000 people and we're still growing strong. And it's very challenging for one council member to know every part of the whole city as well as they really should.
That's the natural growth of things. On the plus side, the strong mayor, single member district form of government, the person who benefits the most are the people. On the downside, the person who suffers the most are the politicians. I think that's a good thing.
Right now we're in the middle of a comprehensive plan, so really some of our short-term goals kind of spill over into the long-term. Because transportation is always going to be both a big short-term issue and a long-term issue. You know, anybody who drives anywhere in Austin, or really tries to get anywhere by any means whatsoever, knows that we've got some serious issues with transportation. In the short term, we're going to be moving forward on projects that are funded through the transportation bond election we approved last fall, and most of those should be capable of getting done within the next about a year and a half.
I think immediately on the short term, when you're talking 1, 2, 3 years, we definitely have to shore up our economy. The only way we can shore up our economy is do everything we can to support small businesses. We need to be business friendly, and we need to know what we're talking about when we're talking to businesses, because let me tell you, businesses know the difference. There's a lot of things in business decisions that seem to be counterintuitive, and only a businessman will know that.
It's helpful to get some clear policies in place so everybody understands exactly what's expected and what's not on both city email accounts and personal email accounts. But it is a difficult challenge, especially well, it's a difficult challenge for office holders, but it's also a challenge for the 12,000 city employees we have who sometimes wind up communicating with their personal devices.
Nowadays, because of technology, communication, everything is so instant. You say the wrong thing, boom, it can go viral. Now, based on this council's use and other councils across the country, it's gone beyond separation of public-private, but they're now using private instruments to hide their public dealings. So therein lies the paradigm shift.
One of the issues is that if in your geographic area, the person who is elected to represent your area is not interested in your issues, you don't have anywhere else to go. Whereas currently, there's a challenge because people feel like none of us are 100% accountable to them, but on the other hand, we are, in fact, they do have more options in Austin. So if one council member isn't interested in your topic, you still have 6 others that you can go to, including the mayor.
Currently, we don't have anybody on the city council who lives south of the river. I think that to be able to effectively campaign to an entire city is next to impossible. That the mayor should really be the only at-large seat out there. I think that when you go to the grocery store, when you go into your H-E-B to do your grocery shopping, you should see your council member in that store to approach and talk to about your problems. And you need somebody that's familiar with your area.
I think moving toward a system of representation that includes some single-member seats as well as a few at-large seats would really be a positive direction for Austin to move. And I do think that that kind of conversation is happening in our public today and should be brought to the voters for a decision. We need more ethnic representation on council, more geographic representation, and single-member districts can be a way to achieve that.
I support single-member districts. One big reason is that there is no one from South Austin currently on the City Council, and that's obviously not a good situation. Single-member districts will ensure geographic representation as well as ethnic representation. I also think that there's a good chance single-member districts can help to cut the costs of campaigning, especially in the districts, and also I'm very hopeful that single-member districts can help to increase voter participation.
Well, I think the short-term priorities are core city services, the things that people count on for the city to provide. We have lots of capital improvement projects that are under consideration that we need to think about. Economic development, you take more of a long-term view on those kinds of issues. Of course, infrastructure planning, whether that's for transportation or our water, wastewater utilities. There's every decision that you make has to have sort of short-term and long-term in mind.
In the short term, our priorities really should be traffic. It's staring us right in the face every day when we go to work and when we come home from work. Everybody is sitting in traffic all the time. We need to be widening roads and adding lanes wherever possible. Traffic should be the #1 priority of the Austin City Council. In the long term, this is a more complex issue. We were in a drought just a year and a half ago where we were running out of water in the lake. And if our population was doubled and the amount of water we were using was doubled, I don't know that we would have had the water to support this kind of population.
We need to do economic development, certainly. The economy is slow and we need to get back on track in that area. We also need to reduce traffic congestion and improve air quality, and I have a plan to do that, a 5-step plan that will make Austin the electric vehicle capital of the world, that will give us the first battery-powered transportation system in the world, and we'll actually take thousands of cars off the road and improve our air quality.
Our city council needs to be focused on issues of affordability. That is by far, as I talk to people around the city, the most pressing need. The city council has made some decisions in the last few years that have really resulted in increased costs for everyday citizens. And these have increased our utility rates. They've even increased the charges for parking downtown. So our council needs to really be focused and listening to the needs of our citizens.
I think that this has been a really interesting topic, of course, for those of us that are currently in office. And I think what's become clear is that over the years, the laws have not kept up with the technology of the day. And so I'm in favor of transparency. I think it's really important. We keep our emails very well organized in the office, and I was happy to turn mine over. As far as on personal devices, that's being heavily litigated at the moment. But my perspective is that if we're doing city business, it ought to be on the city system, and if it wasn't for some reason, then it needs to be forwarded onto the city system so citizens can see what's going on in their government.
I believe that you do give up a certain amount of privacy when you're elected to a public office. Privately held email accounts specifically if they're being used for city purposes or for official business, then I believe firmly that those email accounts need to be opened up to the public for them to take a look at. I personally will not be using my private email account for anything related to the city. I'll have a city email and everything will be sent through that. However, if there was anything to show that any public official is using private email accounts for public service issues or for public business, then I think that should be opened up for the public to see.
I think the emails certainly and the calls, if the city's providing the phone, then that's city business, and I think the public has a right to those emails and telephone conversations. City business conducted over a private telephone is really in the gray area, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion and probably some lawsuits to settle that out. This is an evolving part of the law and of public service because we have new communication devices, so the law has to evolve to deal with those, and we're in that gray area right now.
I believe the public's business needs to happen in public. And when we have city officials who are communicating about the public's business on their private emails, it becomes the public's business. And I'll just add that I was very concerned to see that a good number of emails were exchanged among private emails from one city council member to several other city council members, sometimes as many as 4, which constitutes a quorum. I really believe that that's a practice that should be discouraged, and if our leaders are using their private emails to have that kind of discussion, all of those records should be subject to disclosure.
I'm very much for it. Again, it brings more accountability. Now you have someone you have to go to. There's someone that is accountable for the area that you live in and understands the problems and concerns of where you live at. But I would hope that the city alone is progressive enough and to cast aside race and just elect the person they feel is best to lead the city. And whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're Hispanic, whatever the case may be, I hope that we've moved to the point where we don't look at that anymore. And again, maybe it's me being idealistic, but that's hopefully where I would like to go with single member district. Short-term goals for Austin are simple. I think we need to implement single member districts. I've been a big proponent of single member districts from the very get-go of my campaign. Another thing I think is for short-term is working with small businesses. We need to ensure economic growth for the long term, and that goes into my transition with the long-term goals as far as transportation. I think transportation is one key that we can lay the foundation for now for years to come and improve not only the urban core, but at the city as a whole and all our citizens. I believe there should be transparency in all matters concerning city council, except for when it comes to their private emails and their private cell phones. At the end of the day, we do represent the city of Austin and we do represent the citizens, but there must be some things that we keep private, and hopefully we've elected people with enough integrity and enough common sense to say, hey, this is a city matter. I will transfer my emails to my city email account.